Hi, hi YouTube. I am here to bring you guys a deck recipe. Basically, for those of you who might not know, the deck I'm gonna show off today is called No Hope. Excuse me. It's called No Hope for Escape. Kind of under the weather. It's called No Hope for Escape, and basically what it is it's an Exodia deck. The point of it is to summon Exodia as quickly as possible, and you get to basically get the automatic win. So here we go. We got Dark Hole, basically self-explanatory, destroys all monsters, yours and your opponents included. 1 Day of Peace, basically you draw one card, you and your opponent both draw one card, and neither player takes battle damage until the end of your opponent's next turn. So it's a good, this is excuse me, this is where the draw engine of the deck actually starts, with the 1 Day of Peace. And then you get the 3 pot of dualities. Basically you you look at the top 3 cards in your deck, basically, and then they get turned, basically, and so they get turned over, and you basically choose one out of those 3 to bring to your hand. So I'm running 3 pot of dualities, 1 Regeki, which is good for when your opponent has a bunch of monsters on the field ready to swarm you. Shard of Greed, basically, each time, here this card says each time your opponent each time you draw a card for your normal draw phase, in your normal draw phase 1, place 1, basically you place 1 greed counter on this card, and you can send this card to the graveyard to draw with 2 greed counters to draw 2 cards. So basically, once you get 2 greed counters, you get 1 greed counter per turn, and once you get 2, you basically send this card to the graveyard to basically draw 2 cards. And I'm only running 2 because 3 is a risk, because you have to wait 2 turns to set those off. So 2 is the right number. Swords of Revealing Light, self-explanatory. Basically that card is a stall card, and it stalls for 3 turns. Upstart Goblin, you basically pay you give your opponent 1,000 life points, and you draw 1 card. So I'm running 3 of these. For those of you who don't know why I'm running 3 and why I would give my opponents life points, don't worry about it, I'll explain everything. Basically, you run 3, and then you give your opponent 3,000 life points, and the next card is it's called Advanced Defense Draw. Basically what it is you set it, and your opponent attacks you. The battle damage that he would do to you becomes 0, and then you draw a card. I'm running 3 of those. Then I got the heart of the deck, the No Hope for Escape, which is where the Upstart Goblins come in. What you do is you play the Upstart Goblins first. If you get them in your hand first turn, or whenever you get them, you give your opponent life points, and then this card, what it does is activate only when your opponent's life points is at least 1,000 1,000 life points higher than yours. And then your life points. Draw 1 card for every 2,000 life point difference between you and your opponent's life points. So yeah, basically what it does is you combine it with Upstart Goblin. You use Upstart Goblin to draw cards. Your opponent gets 1,000 life points. You pay 1,000 life points for this card. So basically, you're lowering your life points by 1,000 for every time you activate this card, and you have 3 of them in your deck. So that's 3,000 life points down the drain for you, and 3,000 life points for your opponent. But it also means that you get to draw cards from your deck for every 2,000 of life points difference that you have from your opponent's life points. So yeah, Reckless Greed. Now a couple people don't know how to run this, but I do, and Reckless Greed is actually good if you play it the right way. What you do is you this card, it says draw 2 cards and skip your next 2 draw phases, but what you want to do with this card is, I'm only running 2 because 3 is a risk. What you want to do is you take you wait until these 2 cards are in your hand, the 2 Reckless Greeds, and then you basically set them down at the same time, and then when it's your turn again, you activate both of them, chaining them together. You get penalized for 1, and then the other one is a free draw. So technically you're drawing 4 cards, and you're only getting penalized for 2 of your draw phases. But not really, because if you think about it, with all the draw power in this deck, you're really not getting penalized for anything. So I mean, Solemn Warning. Now Solemn Warning is actually good because it prevents your opponent from using any effects that might hurt this deck, whether it be traps or monster effects or whatever it may be that you need it for. And it also allows you to pay 2,000 life points, which is even more of a life point advantage for you, because you can use the No Hope for Escapes and draw more, continue to draw cards. The only normal monsters I have in this deck are actually the Exodia pieces. The normal Exodia pieces, because those are the only normal normal monsters that you need in this deck, because basically you don't need any more normal monsters. Absorbing Jar basically flips, destroys all spells and trap cards on both you and your opponent's fields. And basically what it does is it allows you to draw for every card that was destroyed with this effect. Basically you draw 1 card. So you flip, you set this, you either flip it or your opponent destroys it. Either way the effect goes off, and then your opponent and you basically draw 1 card for every trap card that was destroyed. So if your opponent does manage to destroy any of your traps, or you manage to destroy any of his, you guys, like, still get draw power. So yeah. Battle Fader basically instantly ends your opponent's battle phase. So your opponent basically wasted all of his time for this one. Basically what it does is it basically ends the battle phase so that your opponent can't basically do any damage to you. Then you got Card D. You normal summon this, activate his effect, and then as soon as you activate his effect, you draw 2 cards, and your turn ends. So I'm running 3 of those in the deck. And I'm also running Emissary of the Afterlife. Basically what it does is you set it, and as soon as it leaves the field from the field to the graveyard, as soon as it goes to the graveyard, you draw one of the 3 Exodia pieces, or no, one of the 4 Exodia pieces, excuse me, the normal monsters, to your hand. So basically, let me read it. It says, when this card is sent from the field to the graveyard, each player adds 1 level 3 or excuse me, or lower normal monster to their hand, from the deck to their hand. Basically, Marshmallow allows you to stall, and also it can't be destroyed by battle, excuse me, and it also can't like, you know, it's good for stall, and basically your opponent loses 1,000 life points. I'm running 2 of them, and then the last card I'm running in here is it's called Tongue Twister, which this video has been a little bit of a tongue twister for me because I'm kind of sick. So anyway, basically what this card is it may look weak, but don't judge a book by its cover, because basically what it is you tribute one of the emissaries. You get one of the emissary of the Afterlife's effects off, and you tribute it for Tongue Twister. And Tongue Twister, when it gets destroyed, whether by trap or whatever, however it gets destroyed, by battle, by trap, by magic, doesn't matter. If freaking you get 2 excuse me, you get 2 cards straight to your hand. If you haven't summoned Exodia with all the draw power in this deck, I guarantee you will probably be down to your last couple of cards. And if you have this card and you actually have something to tribute, you can basically tribute this card, and then as soon as it's tributed, or as soon as you sacrifice for it, you tribute it, and then you tribute for it, and then you set it, and then when your opponent destroys it, basically you get 2 cards. So it says, if this card was tribute summoned, when it is sent from the field to the graveyard, draw 2 cards and remove this card from play. So yeah, those are the combos, you guys. If you like the video, please rate, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for being patient, and sorry for, you know, all the stuttering. I'm basically battling a cold, I guess, or some type of bug or something. I don't know what it is, but yeah.